I never thought about the finish until that last day when I knew that I had the finish in me. Because I generally thought my goal of 9 days was maybe too big. And I thought, have I just plucked this out of the air? Is it possible? No one's done it. You know, even my good friends who are really good hand cyclists that thought it was insane. Maybe it was too much.
Hired.
I'm not surprised. You don't look it.
Good day. One particularly steep hill, which was great fun, but I've kind of got into that. That's just the normal now, and I nearly fell asleep. I was like, I was 8:70. Oh, wake up, which was good fun.
Go tomorrow.
Yep. Early to bed, early to rise. Fast to cycle.
I think a challenge of a race is one thing, but it's kind of a safe place to challenge yourself. But going out into the islands, you know, the wilderness on your own is a different challenge. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if you're going to be able to succeed, and that's what I really love. So to be able to bring the kind of the performance side into that kind of bigger ultra endurance challenge, I think is really exciting. I love Great Britain, so to be able to explore Great Britain whilst doing that as well, bringing it all together is kind of, I guess, an accumulation of everything that's happened, that I've learned, the journey that I've been on the last 10 years.
So we're currently standing in the dark. It's 4:30 in the morning, I believe. We're at Land's End. It's a little drizzly, but we're not too put off by that. And we're just getting everything ready to get going as soon as possible. So we've got a little bit of drizzle, but we're not too worried about it. It's not torrential, and it is what it is. It's England, so, you know.
Last year I was waiting for some heart surgery to have, which actually put a stop to my racing. So that was a really tough year, and that I had to stop the season early, and the racing that I was doing sort of for the year really up to that wasn't where I wanted to be because my body wasn't letting me. But then whilst I couldn't race, mentally that was really tough last year, to be an athlete but not be an athlete. So I had to find another focus, and that's what I do. So my focus, and now I thought, well, I've got this time, I can't focus on performance, but I can still be active, I can still get out on my bike, I can still go and explore places. So I kind of had that opportunity and that time to do it, which was great because I hadn't had that before. Last year was kind of, the start of the bigger adventures and the taking the time out, just me and my bike for a month on end, seeing where I could take it. Thankfully, I had the surgery at the end of last year, which went really well. So now it's kind of, I feel like a new lease of life almost, that I can build on both of them. I feel really good, I can really push myself again and into those bigger challenges. So obviously everyone knows about Land's End John O'Groats. It's a British iconic ultra-endurance journey, race, whatever you want to call it. And I kind of want to bring my performance side of my racing into my love of adventure. So I guess make it more about the race, a race against myself, but against the world record.
This is her first stop of the day, well, the first stop of the entire trip. So she was meant to stop at 50k off 4 hours. She has so far done 60k in 3 hours. So she's flying and she's feeling good, she says. So we're just waiting for her to come around this corner, and she's just come into shot.
What rain?
So the Awesome A-Team support team, we had Matt. So he drove the motorhome. He was also my nav man.
Had a strong weekend.
Yeah, that's me.
And then every day for the trip, what I had to go through the next day, and he'd take me through the route, take me through any challenging areas. And we would come off here.
And we would come off.
Yes.
It's down one of these ones here.
And then we had 2 outriders, stroke drivers, stroke many of the hats. So we had Howell, who was my photographer. That was his main role, but he was also driving with the support vehicle. So he'd be in the car, sat behind, and he'd alternate. So if he wasn't driving the car, he'd be on a bike behind me.
Have you noticed that this has been uphill for like the last 10 or 12 miles?
Yeah, totally.
But it looks downhill.
Yeah.
We're going, if we stop pedaling, we stop moving. Yet that's definitely downhill.
Fake
So
flat.
We did some science on it, and we think the trees are being blown that way, so they're altering the perspective.
Right, yeah.
We also had Stephen, who was my mechanic, and he would again be driving the car or he'd be on the bike. So having the mechanic so close was fantastic. And amazingly, I didn't have any punctures, which was great, but it was good to have him there. And if I had any gearing issues, then he was really quick to just sort it out. So that was brilliant and awesome to have on the bike as well.
I'm drinking a glass of red, antioxidants, all sorts of goodies to repair damaged things inside, but it's going to get me through the next stage most definitely. I read it somewhere in a 1920s Tour de France book.
Then we had Paula, who was my physio, so she was there basically keeping my body going. We had Stephen keeping the bike going, Paula was keeping my body going.
My observation is we've just done end to end because we started in the dark at 4 in the morning. We're going to end in the dark.
So she'd be taping me up every day, sticking needles in me at breakfast, whatever else was needed, sorting out my sore arms, my armpits, and just kind of keeping me going forward in that way. Katie looked after social media side of things, whilst obviously I was busy cycling, and also she did the best eggs for lunchtime, the best porridge. She was amazing cooking, and I really miss that.
Perfect, please. Cheese it is then. Would anyone like that bread?
And she gave the best hugs as well. When times were tough, then yeah, she'd give a big hug.
I've got. It'll get us through to the morning. But I've got I've got
I need it now.
a USB
Yeah, we
key.
need it. Let's put it on. Start happen. This is day 2, guys.
I guess it's that sort of ingrained independence that's really important for me, and I'm pretty sure that it all stems back to when I was first ill, when I had my stroke and I came out of hospital, and I couldn't do much for myself at all, and everything was really hard. I couldn't lift up the milk to make a cup of tea or anything like that. Or if I could, I'd shake, and I just didn't have the strength. And my friends always, wanted to help. And I said to them then, and we had a few arguments, and we want to help you, you're struggling. But to me, I needed to do it, because at the time, that if I couldn't make myself a cup of tea, if I couldn't open my post, then I didn't see the point in anything. There was nothing. And I think just as much now, and the more time I'm struggling, so when I would have been really feeling it, when it got really tough, is when I have to be more independent. And I think that's almost just ingrained now, and I don't even realise I'm doing it, but perhaps people on the outside might see that and might think I'm being awkward or however, but it's just like, it's getting really hard now. I've got to fight this. So I think it's just, I'm going to prove my body wrong, I think, in my mind. So yeah, the stroke, I mean, it will always be very much there. And perhaps times, situations like that, it's perhaps more evident than normal.
It's kind of like fitting. She gets very, so she can't use her hands and her feet, and they kind of go into that kind of almost like a neurological spasm. So it's due to fatigue. She's incredibly cold. It's very wet today. And yeah, so the idea is that we need to get her where she's not having to hold up her own body. So once we can get her warm, which was the main thing, it's about getting her to lie down so that she's not having to hold up her own body, so it can start to calm down. So as soon as we were able to get her into the camper van, warm her up a little bit and get her lying down, she started to calm down quite quickly.
What's before you drink? Before you start to... Never do anything in an average way.
I think everything just got a bit much with the weather, the storm and everything else. So I had that kind of episode that I didn't see come in, and that was tough actually. And when that happens normally, it leaves me in such an exhausted state, very much like after an epileptic fit. So all I can do in that is just rest. That day, that situation, for me, I guess it was an option, but I wouldn't give myself that option. So for me, I just had to get back on the bike. So I'm really proud that I did that. That was a big thing for me. So at times when it was tough, when it was slow going, I reminded myself just kind of where I was. I was cycling, the length of Great Britain. I was out on my bike. And however hard it was, however slow I was going, I just had to look around, and see the mountains or the forests, or even sometimes on the main roads, and you've just got these kind of little wild patches of verges, of grasses I could just run my hands through, and little insects and things. It was incredible, and there was nowhere else I would rather be. I was very much in the moment, and that was really important. But then sometimes at the same time, I was quite far away. I was with people, I was with friends that I knew were supporting me. I thought about people that aren't here anymore, that I know would love what I'm doing, that mean so much to me, and the people that they've left behind. And that was really important to take those people with me, any way I could.
It's a treat this afternoon through Wolverhampton. imagery in our view.
Explain what happened.
So what happened? So we were following a former record route on a map app, and it runs parallel to the M6, and then suddenly the route becomes the M6. So we had a little interesting sort of 100-metre scare before we pulled into a service station, and managed to get back en route on a safer road.
What happened before we managed to pull in?
We got pulled over by the police, who were undercover somewhere in an unmarked Beamer, who then eventually saw the funny side and helped us.
And then they said when they saw that Stephen was on his phone whilst cycling as well, that he was going to book everybody. So I think you being on your phone, oh, there they are. I think you being on your phone probably would have just topped us off. Eventful day 5.
You come from? Where did you start? Whereabouts you
Land's End.
Is that what you started today?
Probably not the best place.
Honestly, it was just, it was like, okay, we've got folk going up the half shoulder which they don't like, the cars. Now we've got bikes, now we've got a bike on the phone, and we're like, is somebody got to roll us a double six and we're going to see what else we can see? Because this is one of like a textbook exercise for us. We're saying that you've got this, this and this and this. Well, no, that all can't happen.
You want to see what he did yesterday?
Knowledge of the laws.
Yeah. Right then, let's get a photo, that's alright.
Where do you want us?
I do apologise for nearly getting people arrested. But what was it I said the other day? It's not a real adventure until you nearly get arrested. Again. It's only an adventure when you nearly get arrested, isn't it? Just make that the only times.
My biggest fear is failure, absolutely. And I think that's where it's important that I try and get into my head. It's that headspace that, you know, what is failure? Failure not completing, is that failure? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Obviously, I want to finish. Obviously, I want to break the world record. But there's going to be a lot of demons along the way. On an hourly basis, it's like, what are you doing? You can't do this. Yes, you can do this. No, you can't do this. And it's exhausting. And it's trying to kind of stay in the moment, stay present, and just do what I know I can do. Yeah, I'm worried about my body not being able to carry on, being at a point, my shoulders, my arms, or anything that I can't keep going.
My arms hurt, my legs hurt, and I don't use my legs. My wrists really hurt from the bumpy roads. My neck really hurts from the bike. Obviously, my shoulders hurt. My skin hurts. my chest hurts.
What about your toes?
But I think my toes are okay.
But I also know, although there are a lot of demons in my mind is strong, and it is mind over matter, and I just have to believe and just keep going.
Guess what, team?
We're hitting our...
We're in Scotland! Scotland! Woohoo! High five!
One country done.
You know, I felt as the journey went on, as the race went on, I felt better and better and better. I didn't sleep much during the whole trip, but I don't sleep anyway. I think my years of insomnia have actually done me a favour after all. Yeah, I just didn't want to get off the bike. I just wanted to keep riding. And I think I remember one of the breaks we had, and the team said, if you want to carry on, then we'll carry on with you. And for me, I suppose throughout the whole race, in the back of my mind, I'd kept it to myself. But I thought if I could take off some extra miles every day, one, that's going to be a bit of a backup if I need it, whether it's mechanical or a navigational error perhaps, or weather or anything that might stop me. But also, I wanted to break the record, but actually I wanted to smash the record. So if I could have that bank of hours and take off that extra day, I knew that the 9th day on the plan was the shortest day, so I could take that off in the ideal world. So as the day progressed, obviously just feeling really good, and we just knew that I could keep riding.
Good, right, ready to go?
Yeah. Let's go. And Paula did say, I think you should sleep for a couple of hours and then we'll kick on. But I didn't want to sleep. I just knew that I could just keep riding my bike. And actually, I didn't think I would have slept anyway. I wasn't really sleeping, and that was fine by me.
Still the bumpy roads, onto the strain. My wrist joints are just sort of clicking out a little bit. So my shoulders were coming out already, now it's the wrist turn.
For now it's this block, and then I'll readdress it, and then it's the next block, and then we'll readdress it. So that was always the case. I knew I had the finish in me. I just didn't, know how long that bit was going to take. But I wasn't going to stop for any length of time to hang around and wait for it.
Well, we started out at the edge of the Highlands proper, because I took a photo as a sign as we went into the Highlands, and we were planning on stopping probably about 10 miles ago, but being so close, we just decided we're going to push on and do this last 65 miles. It's 7 o'clock now, so it's going to be a late one, but we're going to do it tonight. Yeah, everyone's feeling good. We've got another rider joining us now. Cohen's is going to come in and jump on the other bike, so we have some support. We've just done about 205k, and 65 miles left to mix it up a bit.
Can I help you? Push. Push. Push, push, push. No, not pull. Push, push. Forward. That's it. Thank you. That's it. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to grab you. That's all right. Anytime.
It's weird. I don't know. It's an emotional day, and this it's near the end, and it kind of makes me sad. And I'll probably cry again. And it's not just been this week, it's been years, this sort of thing that started, and I guess, it's like just a real massive personal journey. So it was just I needed to get in my head. It's awesome that everyone's so excited, it's awesome. But I just needed to remove myself and just think about things. I didn't know what the time was. I knew I'd been riding for a long time, but I thought maybe I'm close to the cut-off and I didn't want to go over to another day. Didn't want that to happen. Looking back the next day when we drove that route, I was really glad, I think, that it was dark, because those hills were massive, and I think to see them definitely would have perhaps put those doubts in my head. If you can't see it, then there's nothing to be scared about, so maybe that was the best tactic. I know that it was over 300 kilometres cycling, and it was around 21, 22 hours riding. So definitely my biggest day ever.
Hey Mel, I just met this stranger. And we're wishing you tons of luck. I just got your message to say you're about to do an all-nighter, you nutter.
Amazing.
You've smashed it so far. I've loved following the updates, and yeah, you're amazing.
Yeah, love you so much. So proud to be supporting you, and amazing to be here with this guy as well. And we are sending you every bit of success and love, and just go and smash it, hun. You're amazing.
We'll celebrate together soon.
It's quite disorientated when you've been riding for 21 hours anyway. Obviously a little bit tired. I remember commenting about the sunset, and it wasn't the sun, it was the moon. It was on the East Coast. I remember thinking that it was pitch black and that I could see the sun coming up, but it was car headlights coming towards me. But trying to kind of focus where you're going, and it's so dark, and obviously in the north of Scotland there's no light pollution or anything. So I think Stephen and I didn't speak to each other for about 3 hours, not at all the final bit. We just kind of, probably in both of us in our own heads, just pushing on. I remember coming down this hill and I saw a light again flashing at me, and in my head I thought it was Matt kind of telling me to turn off or something. So I'm flying down the hill, and again I thought, I knew that the cut-off for the day was I think 10 to 5 in the morning, and I didn't know what the time was. So I was pushing and pushing, just sprinting that last bit in that I could. I remember riding into John O'Groats and not knowing where I was going. The crew had sort of said, oh, you've got to look for a car park to come in.
How do I get there?
Come down here, come down there.
It's not about disability at all. I have dreams of ultra cycling, I have dreams of ultra marathons, ultra endurance, and that's the goal, that's the bigger picture. I guess it just happens I'm doing it on a handbike. But for me, that's not the focus, that's not what it's about. Yes, it feels very, very, very good. But I still think I could go faster. My goal was 9 days, and I thought that dream was too big. No dream is too big.
Yeah, it's nice to have a flashing light because it's very attractive. Very, that's one. It's very attractive.